Oh, gotta love that sound. Summer is often a time for many to tackle major improvement projects and updates around the house. But with hefty costs and rising interest rates, is now the best time to borrow for a home upgrade? Everything Financial's Peter Cishecki joins us with some advice. Good morning, Peter. Good to see you.
Good morning.
I think a lot of people during the pandemic, they were at home a lot, so they wanted to do those home renovations. Are we still seeing people like wanting to dive in and get the work done?
Not as much, but it's a great time to do it because, as you said, since the pandemic, the cost of doing it has come way down because the supply and demand, everyone was at home. They had money that they weren't spending on travel, that's for sure. So they were doing home improvements because they were there and they wanted to spruce things up, and there was only so many people to do improvements and getting the goods. As we know, there was supply chain issues. I remember that word, supply chain shortages.
Right.
Yeah, so now the cost is a lot more reasonable to do it. Because
there's more workers available to do the work. But what about borrowing money to do the work? I think a lot of people used to tap into their line of credit.
That's right.
And their home equity line of credit. That is a fluctuating interest rate, is it not?
That interest rate right now is very high. So if you can fortunate enough to have cash to do the job right now, then you're going to benefit, where borrowing is a little more expensive. But there are deals out there. There are certain companies that will give you 6 months to 12 months interest free on a major purchase. Maybe it's appliances, maybe it's a whole bunch of flooring, maybe it's even an in-store from a big box store, you know, credit card or something like that. So look for the deals, and if that can save you money, maybe by the time you need to pay that bill, make sure you do pay that bill, though.
Right.
The interest rates will be, they should be quite lower than they are now, but you may be able to get your home renovation done, though.
Right. Okay, so people are waiting for those interest rates to come down. So what about when it comes to home renovations and selling your home? Should you bother doing the work if you're planning on selling within the next couple of years? Does it make financial sense? Do you get that money back?
Not usually.
With the sale?
No, because when people are looking at buying your house, the person buying it always wants to use every advantage to get the lowest price. Right? They're trying to save money on purchasing your house, and you expect to get the highest price because you're passionate, it's your home, and you get emotionally attached to it. But when a person's buying, they're looking at what's the square footage of your house, and what's the price per square foot, and what's the price per square foot of the house next door they're looking at buying. And as far as they're concerned, it's based on the square footage. It's the same thing. And general stats show you might get 30 or 40% of that money back doing the home improvement. Look at doing a home improvement for quality of life. It's your home, a long-term investment to upgrade your home because you might be there for another 10, 15 years or something like that to eventually appreciate that and then get the money back because of the home value going up.
So they always say that doing a kitchen renovation or a bathroom renovation is where you get the most bang for your buck. Are those the areas that people are still doing?
You do, but they're also the most expensive, too.
They're so expensive.
Because when you look at the kitchen or the bathroom and you go, okay, I'm going to change the sink and I'm going to change the toilet, and then you take things off and then you look at under the floor or behind the wall, and all of a sudden all these other surprises show up, and the expense tends to be quite a bit higher than you initially estimated. And whatever you think your home improvement will be, on
add more
price,
onto that?
double, and on length of time, double, and then you're pretty well safe.
Okay, so what about tax deductions when it comes to renovations? Is there any way to make that renovation work for you when it comes to your tax return?
For the most part, no. But if you have a rental property and you're doing improvements, then that adds to what's called the adjusted cost base. So if you bought a rental place for $400,000 and you put $50,000 into it, it's like your cost is now $450,000, which means when you sell it, what's that word we always like to say here? The capital gain. So your capital gain will be reduced, and you have to save all those receipts. You're going to need them. So make sure you save all the receipts on home improvements on a rental property. Can help with if you have a suite, things like that. But for the most part, general for your personal residence, no. But for rental or revenue property, yes.
Oh, yeah, big decision, because a lot of people, I think, are itching to do something with their homes. Still, they still want to have those renovations, but they don't necessarily want to deal with, like, the high interest rate of a home equity line of credit.
And then there's the stress of living in a work zone.
Yeah, with your toilet in your living room. I get it. I get it.
Oh, you did that once.
I've done that. Peter, thanks for joining us this morning. Good advice, as always.